been starting. It's called Hosea-ish Science. As you guys might know, I have an IQ of 141 and I am a kid science genius person. So today we're just going to be looking up some science life hacks. And I'm going to be explaining them to you, and if they're not real and they're clickbait, I will tell you. So basically this is going to be an interesting one. So let's start off with this video.
Who becomes a Twilio developer?
Alright, so nobody cares about that at all. So, alright. So this person is putting straws in a water bottle that or a pouch that has water in it, and it's holding the water still. So the reason that it does that is because the actual toothpicks are clogging up the holes, so the water doesn't have a way to escape. Just so you guys know. This is going to be a short video, by the way, since we're just doing this one. That is also something you can do because the imprint made on the coin, the actual graphite on the pencil, will make an outline on it on the piece of paper. By the way, do not try any of this at home. That is something that I must stress, because you might wreck some stuff. Although yes, the soap will expand. Hang on. We'll wait. The soap will expand because, as many of you probably know, solids expand into liquids, but seeing as it's solidified, it would have had the molecules would have spread out and then come back together in a bigger shape because they would have been more spread out at the time. So that is something cool. I would not suggest doing this at home. It can hold it because, as you guys can see, there is a little layer of metal right there that kind of keeps the water, but you think the water would fall out because it's a little above that. The reason is because water likes sticking to water, and it has a good surface tension. So that is the reason that happens. Okay, so the reason that happens is because you have your palm on the paper, you could push it technically a little, and the power of suction would come into effect where the molecules would stick from the paper to the glass, and when the water hits it, it would actually make the bonds more solidified, and it would stay. But any extra force on the paper would make it so the whole thing would collapse. I know what they're gonna do. Alright. So yes, because a lemon is an acid and baking soda is the most alkaline substance, it has a big reaction because there's so much acid in contrast to the baking soda. This would also work with Mentos and Coke. This would work with baking soda and vinegar. It would work with anything that's really acidic and anything that's really alkaline. If you mix them together, you'll get a reaction kind of like this. So yeah, if you want a big experiment, use an acid, use an alkaline substance. Usually baking powder is used, baking soda, but you can use pretty much anything. Alright. Yep. So, this isn't more of a science thing. This is just the food dye goes through the whipped cream because the whipped cream has a lower surface density. That's easy. Now, the reason that that happens is because, as you saw, they added sugar and salt. And when those two react and are set on fire, along with the, I would say, it's not really a lighter fluid, but it's kind of a version of that, on top of something like sand, it will actually merge a little bit with the sand as it creates this kind of substance that is kind of like charcoal in a way. As you can see, it made like a cool substance. So that's kind of interesting. And underneath, yes, there would still be that, because only the certain molecules would expand, create a gas, and then solidify again because of the coolness and heat difference. Alright, so they're cutting up a banana. What are those, walnuts? I don't understand this. I don't understand why that was sciencey or anything. Walnuts are just kind of like a wax thing, so they'll melt and then sort of set on fire on the inside. That's just kind of how that works. Right. So, because that's a sparkler, it'll actually work better because of the ping pong ball below. Because the actual weight distribution. 3, 2, 1, 0. So, as you can see, it'll just start smoking. It won't actually become a sparkler. It'll kind of just set on fire and then probably explode at some point, depending on how you do it. So yeah. And then if you were to look at the ping pong ball, it would be, you know, kind of wrecked. Yeah. Completely destroyed. M&M's and water. Alright, so as you guys have seen, we haven't seen anything really crazy sciencey, but we will probably see something eventually that I can really explain, because these are all really easy things. I'm sure some of you guys could probably figure that out, most of these out. Although that's kind of cool because the water kind of erodes the outside layer of M&M so that the actual colors go in. But because they're made of like, it's like, it has a little bit of oil in there, which means it won't actually mix with the other colors because the other colors have a tiny bit of water in them. Therefore, it'll just stay in this little pattern. So I find that interesting. So yeah, they won't mix or anything. They'll just stay in that specific area. Alright. And then you could technically mix it around, although that doesn't seem like you would want to do that. I mean, it looks cooler without it. Alright. I'm confused on what they're making right now. Oh, they're making a jellyfish thingy. That's not as cool. The reason that happens is because the water density in the jellyfish is less than the water density in the actual bottle, which is why the jellyfish goes up, because it's less dense. Slime. Yeah, I don't know why you would ever want to melt slime. Pretty much anything can be melted depending on the temperature. Although that's not that cool, in my opinion. Just personally. I feel like it could be cooler. Since all you're doing is making them... Oh, she's trying to mix the colors. Which, yes, is possible, although I feel like it's not really a sciencey thing, seeing as you can just melt anything, any substance. And that just makes it look worse. I'm sorry, no. Alright. The reason that that happens is because the balls are actually pretty dry. I've actually done a video that will probably be posted later about these. But because they're so dry, the water actually seeps into them, expanding them because, as you know, solid is more of a... It's more of like a solid structure. And the molecules, particles, whatever, don't expand in any way. But if you put water into the mix, it turns into a kind of rubbery substance where it will expand. Although, yes, it is actually really easy to pop, and that's... The reason that that happens is a reaction. Because of the rubbery substance in a hot pan, the heat is actually heating up the molecules inside so that the molecules are trying to expand, but they're not able to, which makes it jump. It's just because they're trapped in a confined space. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. See you guys next time.